So I wanted to make a video, like a highlights video for this, right? Well, I don't think I want to anymore, mainly because the game was just boring. That's like the worst thing you can really say about a game too. It's just boring. So instead, I'm just gonna kind of like talk about my experience a little bit. When the trailer first came out, I was actually really interested in it. Like the body horror mutant giraffe thing from the trailer was so cool looking. Like it was actually scary. And the game just does not deliver on that, not even close. It's such a shame, too. Like, it should have been really easy to give you an experience that was at least somewhat close to that. And they just found all the ways to not do it. The story is fine. It's pretty basic, but I mean, for a horror game, it's about as much as you can get usually. The guy just needs a job, so he like applies at a zoo, and it pays really well for some reason. And of course, super shady stuff's happening. They're experimenting on things. They got a monster in the basement. The monster is infecting all the animals, and for some reason, you don't leave. The guy literally locks you in there. It's like, yeah, you can't leave until you're done. So you're stuck there, but you just kind of don't question a lot of things. I mean, there's probably a lot of lore like hidden behind things. There's like PDA discs you can pick up that give you like background information and all that, theory crafting stuff, but that's not my thing. I want the story in my face. If it's so important to the story to explain everything, you can't leave it in the background. But, again, some people really like that theory stuff. I like watching stuff on that, but I don't like going after it myself. Usually it's tedious. But regardless, story-wise, again, so it's very basic. It's fine. Gets the job done. Keeps me at least interested enough in wanting to know what's going to happen next, I guess. The main issue is the gameplay. It is so tedious and so dull that it just rips the fun out. A lot of it is just like menial labor. You have to pick up a bunch of bricks of food, cart it around, cut up the food for the animals in specific amounts too, like you have a weight of like 8 kilograms, but you only need 1 kilogram. So instead of allowing you to just make the 1 kilogram, you have to cut it by eyeballing it based on the size. And it doesn't work. You get a little bit of leeway in terms of like the percentage, but if you're off enough, you have to toss out the whole thing and start over. The problem with that is every time you run out of food, you have to go back to the main hub, unload the cart from the train, move the cart back to the fridge, gather more bricks of food, drag it back over to the train, lift it back into the train, and then head back to where you're going to go, cut the food, and hope you don't screw up again. It's just annoying and a time waste. So you literally lose nothing for screwing up either, except time, which is more valuable than anything else. After that, it's just you unload the big cart of things, you drag the cart over, you make a stop, pick up some chemicals, check out some extra rooms with the lore stuff, and then you get to the enclosure of whichever animal you picked. When you're there, you open the door, you go through the same tasks each time. You feed them, you wait until they poop, you pick up the poop. You check their temperatures, you get their blood and put it in a machine that tells you if they're sick or not. You check their noise. If they're making weird noise, then, it's that too. And then you just head back to the train. The train tells you, oh, hey, these are the ailments that they have. Make this medicine. So you get the darts, you head back, you cure one of the animals, or multiple animals, depending on how many are sick, and then one of them turns into a mutant, you kill it. And that's it. You rinse and repeat that. So in the first playthrough, yeah, there are multiple playthroughs, because there's branching paths, but in the first playthrough, you get 4 animals, 4 enclosures. The first 2 do nothing. You only get the mutant in the second 2, and then your character falls over, dies, and, bad guy be bad guy, and then the game ends, and then it gives you New Game Plus, which then allows you to do more stuff. With the New Game Plus, you get 4 other animals. You don't get them all. I'm assuming you get that on maybe like the third playthrough, but I'll get into why I didn't get that far in a second. You get 4 other new animals, but there's no reason to them. Like, there's nothing different between any of the animals. I think the only difference I remember is the elephant has like a shield in front of it, so you have to shoot it from behind, and the penguins fly, or the mutant penguin flies. Everything else, feels like the exact same thing. And what makes it worse is you can stand in the hallway to the enclosure, and it can't get to you. It literally can't enter the hallway, so you're perfectly safe. So you just poke out, it aggroes to you, tries to run at you, you shoot it once, and you run back in. No danger whatsoever. On top of that, you know exactly when they're going to transform, more or less. Like, it deviates very slightly. It's either when you cure the animals, or when you have the cure and you're walking back to the enclosure, and they just transform. And to make matters even worse on top of that, every single time, for me anyways, They transformed off screen, so I didn't even see them mutate. I only saw the after. And to make matters even worse, on top of that, during the encounter, the lights are red, like, warning lights red, and they constantly turn on and off. And when they're off, you can't see anything, and when they're on, you can barely see anything. So you don't even get a good look at the mutants. There's just no point. Like, they're just not scary, and you don't even get a good look at them. So the gameplay is really, really boring. It's just super tedious to do. The horror is missing. And then they expect you to play the game multiple times. But every time you go through, you have to go through all the tedious stuff too, on top of whatever extra stuff you want to do. So, like, on the second playthrough, they gave me the cures. I didn't use them. I ended up unaliving everything just to see if anything would happen. Nothing did. Nothing did, to the point where I think I soft-locked the game. Because I got to the end, everything is unalived, there are no tasks left, and I couldn't figure out what to do. There was nothing to indicate what I was supposed to do next. And I ran around for like 10 to 15 minutes trying everything that I could think of, and I couldn't figure out what to do. So the only thing I could think of is that the game soft-locked. And that's not even the first glitch I came across either. This honestly makes it even worse for the horror factor, because one of the times I was fighting one of the mutants, it just vanished. Like, the health bar is still going. Like, you could see the health bar of the mutant still. The lights are flashing and everything, and there's just nothing. I shot it once, I ran back to get some more lethal shots, I think, or either that or I was just in the hallway reloading, and I walk back out, it's gone. And I'm just running around going like, where is it? Nowhere. So I had to leave that area completely, so unload the area, come back, and then it respawned so I could kill it, and then continue. They had such a good formula they could have done. Like, it should have been super easy for them. Because with the trailer and how the mutants looked, you could have had such high tension taking care of the animals if it wasn't so predictable. All they really needed to do was focus on how the mutants would react while you were there. So as you're taking care of them, something happens, and it's more like a puzzle kind of game as you try to get away from them, rather than shoot them dead. That's the biggest issue, is just it's so repetitive, and you know exactly what's going to happen, that it just takes away everything. Like, it really is a shame. I wanted to like the game. I went into it actually a bit nervous because I'm like, oh man, these things are going to be terrifying once I get up close to them. And the first time I was around the giraffes, I was like actually a little bit nervous because I'm like, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? I don't know. And then I even go to pet one of them and I'm like, oh, this is probably a bad idea. I pet it and nothing happens. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just leave. I'm like, okay, it'll probably be the next time, right? Something will happen the next time. It's like, nope, nothing happened. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I get to the next one, the gorillas. And I go to cure the gorilla, and then the thing mutates off screen. It's just the lights are flashing red. So I'm just like, oh, okay. Close door. I just closed the door in its face and I was fine. So I could figure out to walk back slowly and like, oh, hey, I can make lethal shots and go back and shoot it. And I'm done. The multiple paths would have been a cool idea. Going through it multiple times and slowly getting further and further. I'm assuming if I did it like a third time, I probably would have had access to like all the animals and then a little bit more here and there. It's just, again, once it's soft locked there, even reloading the game didn't work. So what I probably would have had to have done, assuming I didn't miss anything, is I would have had to have started completely over from day one, like the first run through, because I didn't have any other saves to go off of. There's just a continue or new game. So unless it lets me start from day two, I actually didn't try, but it's very possible I could have started from day two, I guess, or attempt to maybe. I don't know. But once I hit that point, I'm just like, I'm not having fun. The game's not bad enough for me to have fun with it being so bad. It's definitely not good enough for me to have fun with it. It's just boring. And that's like the worst thing you can say about a game, is that it's just dull. And that makes it so much worse. Man, such wasted potential with the mutant monster idea, or the mutant animal idea, because it was like some body horror stuff there. You don't really get that a lot. It could have worked. Those giraffes look so freaking cool. And then they just did nothing with it. They did nothing with it. I didn't even see it in the game, actually, now that I think about it. In my 2 playthroughs, I didn't see the mutant giraffes. I saw the other mutants, kinda, barely. Don't really know what they looked like until they were dead and I could walk up to them. So yeah, I guess I'm probably not gonna finish the game ever. So at some point I'll either watch like a recap Let's Play that just shows me all the endings or some of the gameplay, or I'll watch like a game theory that'll probably come out later for it, assuming it's popular enough that they want to do one. Beyond that, I just don't care to play it. It's again, just dull. It's not worth it, especially not for the amount of money. It was like $25, I think. I got it probably like 10% off, so it was like $22. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. Maybe other people would like it. I don't know. I just was not a big fan. Well, looking at the Steam reviews, I don't think a lot of people were. Oh well, you live and you learn, you try new games, and then it doesn't always work out. If you like the video, let me know. Leave a comment for that, subscribe, do all the normal YouTube shenanigans. And, if people liked enough, maybe I'll do this kind of stuff more often. Just kind of talk about my experience with the game or do reviews, yada yada. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.